What is happening, everybody? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you hail from. Happy Monday. What a weekend. What a Monday. I was going to say the market has a case of the Mondays, but it sure does not. And my goodness, we are booming. We got a buddy in the background here. Let me just bring him up. Mr. Evan, Sir Stock Market News is here.
There you go.
What's up, dude? How's the weekend?
Weekend was good. Weekend was great. I am excited for the stock market to be open again today. Apple, what a fantastic move.
What a crazy Monday. I'm
Now, the
used to
problem-
sometimes the market has the choppy Mondays. This Monday's a good Monday. That's for sure. Let me charge my phone here.
Except for my bmnr. But besides that, we're going pretty decently okay.
I
thought it would be worse.
We can go over some news too. bmnr had a very interesting catalyst. But before we get into that, everybody wants to hear about your NFL bets. How'd you do this weekend?
Lost.
You lost?
I did lose. I didn't bet much. I wasn't too deep in the chat. I did take a Hail Mary on the Giants at like 4 or 5 cents when they were.
You took a Hail Mary on the Giants. You mean you didn't take the Hail Mary on the Browns?
No. I'm never going to bet on the Browns.
Chat,
but
did
I
take
did
the Hail Mary on the
Giants.
Browns? Because that was what a crazy turn at the very end. That was insane. But and I mean, if there was a Hail Mary to take, I know you're not hanging out in the server enough because I mean I'm not seeing you in the sports betting channel.
I see the tags for this. Whenever someone tags sports betting, I do see it. So I get like 20 notifications over the weekend, and I'm like, listen, I'm not clicking into Discord right now. No,
dude,
I do see them.
You're really missing out. That's all I'm gonna say.
How'd you do this weekend? We do well.
The chat crushed it. Like the whole crew crushed it. Let me see if I can pull this up. We don't have it. Oh, we don't. Let me see if I can pull this up. Some have it. Let's see. Share. Let me see. Sports betting. I know. So it was the Eagles, the Giants. We were betting spreads on Hood, heavy, but it was the Eagles were the comeback of the weekend. That one, if I can find it, I know that the crew just came up like crazy out of the gate, or not out of the gate, like at the very end, it was pretty intense. I know, like some of the guys, this one's okay. I'm sorry, 650. Okay, so this is where. So the Eagles fought. This is a funky spread. That's 7,500 is what that is. This is everything actually expiring. So this is 1,000, but 1,000 at 25 cents that the Eagles cover. This is 500, 250 doubled. I don't see it. Yeah, Cleveland Browns also flipped the flippening at the very last second, final. Insane with the lotto from your boy. What was that? At 22 cents. Yeah. A lot. Jacksonville. A lot of the no's. So these are the spreads. So Los Angeles Rams will not. So it's a no. The Rams will not beat the Eagles by 6.5 points. So it's like no here, like what I'm doing kind of stuff. But anyways, that's how we roll, dude. But you should have hung in there. Look at this. That's crazy.
All right, next week. But that's when you're going to lose, though, when I come in and join.
Maybe. Patrick fly, Eagles fly. But yeah. But it was fun. College football, that was a crazy one. I don't know how people watch those games, though. I'll tell you what. If I watch if I watch college football another day, I think I'm gonna have a heart attack because those games, man, I'll just tell you what, they swing so crazy. I can't watch the games. I don't know how people do that. I cannot watch the games. That's for sure. And June is absolutely right. It is a NVIDIA Monday. That's
getting very close to all-time highs here.
Already?
Yeah, well, less than $1 at this point.
Oh, wow. And to think they were just like very, very, very near the lows. So welcome, by the way. If you're new to the channel, definitely give the video a like, subscribe to the channel. We do this every Monday. We usually take a break somewhere around the lunch hour, give or take. Mondays in the markets tend to be a little choppy from time to time, but personally, I'm an options trader, so I don't tend to trade a whole lot during Monday morning. But I take the time to take a step back right around now and plan out the rest of the week. So what we do here is we take a look at what happened last week, what's important to look forward through this week, what are some of the major headlines that are going to influence our trading and maybe our investments for the rest of the week, and some catalysts to watch moving forward. So this is the moment that we plan out the entire week, and maybe some other catalysts that might influence some of your trades and or investments. But this is the time that we take to kind of plan out some trades and investments and like the quick highlight reel of the week. So I do have some quick stuff, but there's been it's a heavy news flow Monday. I'll just say that. So while I was writing this, I think we're going to fill in a lot of stuff. My thumbnail today is the high holiday effect. And if I say high holiday, but it's the high holy days. Evan, do you want to tell them about this? I'm assuming you're familiar with this. You've been around a little while now.
Yeah, my guess is these Jewish holidays start today, and then there's another one
tonight
next week. Yeah.
Aren't you Jewish?
I am.
Well, I don't know if you're like super practicing Jewish or not, but it's supposed to be. Today's the Day of Atonement. Is that the thing? You're supposed to atone tonight? It's tonight. But tonight is Rosh Hashanah. I'm not sure. I'm not Jewish, so I don't really know. If we had Gav here, Wolfie, maybe we should have him on the next one. But he's very good at this, and he'll tell you everything that you're supposed to do. But it's like a 10-day break, more or less. And it oddly enough coincides with a lot of other things as well. Like we're getting ready, like we're doing taxes, things like that. Anybody that extended their taxes is finalizing their taxes now also for their tax extensions. So there's this really weird situation in the market that aligns with Rosh Hashanah, which is tonight. And it's like a 10-day period in the market where volume also typically decreases quite a bit. And you get this very rocky period in the market where sometimes, not all the time, sometimes we can see a bit of a little dippy dip. Whether or not that's the time to buy is TBD. And I will say that the seasonality of the market has been off a little bit, but it's typically short-lived. And the phrase is sell Rosh Hashanah, buy Yom Kippur. And historically, it tends to work out, but volume tends to die down around the high holy days. And, a lot of market participants do end up taking the time off during that kind of like 10-day period. And a lot of people are either tax loss harvesting. This is when a lot of that comes in because of those tax extensions that do get filed, or people preparing to file to pay their taxes, whether they're booking profits and or harvesting some losses. This is the time when you may see some underperformers perform a little bit worse, oddly enough, or some of your favorite stocks kind of acting a little weird, and maybe some people, you might look at them and be like, why is the market treating my best performing stocks like their personal ATM machines? Sometimes this is why. But into the headlines, it's just a seasonal thing. Into the headlines, we did get our rate cuts. So U.S. and Canada both cut rates by 25 basis points. And the biggest thing last week was the FOMC meeting. In terms of what's going on after that, we had, how many dissents did we have? One or two? Two, I think it was. One?
Am I wrong? First of all, by the way, I am echoing. I think like it's because I hear myself too. And someone commented that. Maybe now it's stopped.
I don't have it.
But I think it was one, and I think it was the 50 from the new guy. But I could be wrong. Maybe there was someone who...
There's a new person, actually, yeah, that wanted a 50 basis point rate cut also. To me, there was probably the biggest highlight here is the shifting balance of inflation risk versus downside risk. So meaning that the downside risk to employment has been mostly the focus. And I think it's just been absolutely glaring in what we've been focusing on at the mark from the market's perspective. So we see that in jobless claims, all that kind of stuff. We had a 263,000 weekly claims come in prior. We've been talking about these non-farm payroll revisions, non-farm payrolls coming in insanely low. I think we're pretty maxed out on the low end of the weakness to the labor market. Not so sure that can get much worse in the near term. Also, I think that the market's coming to a realization that probably a lot of that is due to AI and the efficiency it's driving in the labor market. But the shifting balance of inflation risk versus downside risk to employment means that we could start to see that the inflation risks are possibly higher than we may be thinking, that the market may be anticipating. So that becomes a bit of the risk that is underlying the market right now. And I'll go into that a little bit more, but I think that's the biggest thing from here moving forward, that inflation is either not even stickier, but there's a risk of inflation where the market wasn't really focused on that. The market's been focused on the downside risk to employment and not really thinking about an upside risk to inflation. In terms of GDP, that forecast came down to 1.6. We do, I believe, get a GDP forecast this week, which is like the final read. So that should not actually move the markets very much. And then we got a couple headlines today that were live. One, Evan, I actually pulled these straight from your Twitter feed. So CEO of T-Mobile. So what was the Apple headline? Apple's surging today. That thing was on a just out of the gate. And I have some Apple 300 calls for like 2027. These things are just, I saw it was doing good this morning, but then 4.5% at the highs. So this is the new launch on the Apple iPhone 17. Apparently there's a cycle coming. I didn't get this one. I got the last one, but everybody's getting this one. Whether or not they like it or not, apparently it's a big release. So CEO of T-Mobile said company had its biggest weekend ever in terms of the new iPhone sales. Was there anything else around this one?
Yes. So a couple things with Apple. One, I had 240 calls that expired last week. I sold for a loss on Thursday. Friday they ripped. Today they're up more. It's okay. Still a large holding, but deep down does hurt a little bit.
We talked about this. We
don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it.
300 calls, 2027. Okay. Moving on.
I don't want to talk about it anymore. It hurts. Okay. Second, so there was Apple also got an upgrade this morning. There was a Dan Ives one, but I think there was another upgrade on Apple, if I'm not mistaken. Now, maybe if we want to give a little caveat to this, Trend Spider actually tweeted at me a photo of basically a similar comment last year from the T-Mobile guy. He said, guys, the Apple launch is going great. Anyone who says it's not going great is wrong. Mm-hmm. Now, he didn't use the language of like best weekend ever, so it's a little bit more big stated, but I think that
was the double digits or no? I see Kramer just said T-Mobile Apple launched up double digits.
Yeah, I don't think that they had that language last year. No, so okay. I think there is a little bit more substance into this one. That's why the stock's moving, but Also, some analysts increased price targets. There was a story, if you want to know, there was a couple stories, one on the 19th saying Apple told at least 2 suppliers to boost their daily output of standard iPhone 17 models. And then there was a Mark Gurman thing yesterday, which is the Bloomberg guy, saying Apple's reportedly planning to release a Mac computer with a touchscreen next year.
Oh, finally.
Yeah, there we go. Apple headlines, though.
A lot of Apple headlines. Yeah. Dan Ives he was at 270. He's upgrading to 310 on his price target for Apple. Tesla got some target upgrades also. That was from Piper Sandler, from 400 up to 500. And then I saw some others also that came through. Am I missing any? I know Piper Sandler to 500. And I heard a handful of others. I saw some Tesla photos. Did you see? Were those real, or am I getting fished? Yeah, about Elon. I saw. Trump? Yep. So Elon.
There's a video after. There's a video after of Trump talking about it, and he does kind of dodge it a little bit. He says, "Yeah, it's nice. Elon came over, but he didn't go hey, we're friends." So, but the market doesn't really care. Those photos were real. That was at the Charlie Kirk memorial, and yeah. So they were talking there, and they seemed very cordial.
So Tesla stock was actually starting to rip quite a bit in the pre-market, and I mean, if Elon and Trump are maybe going to make amends, we'll see. That's part of, if they're going to be back, at least making amends, that could be really good for the stock. And I was looking at your timeline. What do you have here? You got some stuff about Hood's revenue. I posted something about those contracts. I'll tell you what. There was
Hood's officially a member of the S&P 500 now, as of
So that is as of today. This. I mean, we joke about these sportsbook things on Robinhood. And there's a guy, if you're not following this guy, Juan, I'll just drop this in the chat. Give this guy a follow. Just not trying to shame. He's doing a ton of work. He does not have a lot of followers. But this guy's tracking, get this, in a manual spreadsheet every day. Like, he's going in and he's actually watching the volumes that are coming through on the actual contracts. If I can... Anyways, you can see how many volumes are being traded on the contracts. I'm trying to scroll and see if I can find one. I can't, but the crew, Amit, Tanner, and everybody actually asked Vlad what, and I think you were there, right? If the volumes that you see on Robinhood are just Robinhood volumes, or if they're combined Kalshi and Robinhood volumes. And in fact, they are just Robinhood volumes. So that data is pretty instrumental, in being able to track this stuff. And what we can see so far, this is crazy to me. First of all, they haven't reported a single penny of profit on any metric for these contracts. And the street is totally blind to this. The street has not covered this at all. This is a 50% growth week over week right now. If you run the numbers on how fast the ramp will be just from now to Super Bowl, it's going to be crazy fast. When he's tracking these contracts, what I'll tell you is that they are significantly understated, because in our DMs going back and forth, all he's doing, he's taking the very last snapshot of the net volumes. But we know when you're watching these volumes go up and down live, they actually go down. So they're not tracking the intra game contracts. So anything that you bought and then sold, if you sold it in the middle of the game, it's not actually capturing that. And we know for sure that you're paying a second commission. So anything that's sold before the game ends, this number does not capture that, which is a solid 30+% of the contract. So this is at least 30% in just swag number low. Dude, at this growth rate, for all of 2026, this is insane. This is like an insane amount of just pure profit just going to the Robinhood's like bottom line. Like I want to say $1 billion number for 2026, like net, because we already know it was $1 billion or 1 billion contracts for last quarter, which is that's $10 million in revenue. But the basic ramp just for NFL between now and Super Bowl is like 20, 30% just on normal numbers. Hood is doing a 50% week over week ramp apparently right now. This is just going to be disgusting. We're not talking about March Madness. We're not talking about basketball. We're not talking about golf. We're not talking about any other sport. We're literally just talking about football right now. And there's zero coverage on the street about these event contracts. This is just absolutely disgusting. So, I mean, this is a sleeper to me in terms of line of business that the street's just not I just don't understand what's going on right now. This is just mind blowing to me. So sorry for the tangent, but I'm just like, holy crap, what's going on right now? So yeah, it's a crazy opportunity. It's a crazy business unit that is just absolutely exploding. And for whatever reason, there is zero coverage. And I honestly don't think that Robinhood is going to release the numbers. I just don't think they're going to release the numbers, because if they were going to, they probably would have said something about that already, but they'll probably let us speculate. I don't know. Did you talk to him about that at the summit?
No, but it is a good thing. And I just quote retweeted this guy. Listen, we're trying to do some cool stuff here. This Juan Rodriguez guy is clearly insane. And that's the type of guy we need.
I mean, he's putting in a lot of effort for the community. A lot of effort. So I'll just tell you, the amount of work that guy's putting in just to track this is just like, it's a lot of effort. So props to him.
I say that in the nicest way possible. This guy, you need a little bit of crazy on your team. Maybe a little bit of tism somewhere in the range helps grow the organization quite tremendously. So yeah, this guy's going places.
Yeah. So anyways, I mean, it's props to him for sure. But when I saw those numbers and I'm like, we're tracking and knowing that like you guys talked to Vlad and Vlad confirmed, okay, that's just showing Robinhood metrics, not Kalshi metrics, and tracking it live, not knowing also that the number's going down intra-game, which means that it's not calculating the contracts that are sold. And also knowing I'm good for a solid 20,000 contracts per game per day. So I'm like, okay, this is crazy. Like the amount of money that they're making is just absolutely, but nobody on the street is like, no one's talking about this. I'm like, no one's talking about this. How is this like it's just like stupid. Nobody's talking about it. I don't get it. Yeah, Patrick, the street is totally blind. They think it's gambling, whatever. There's zero coverage. But anyways, sorry for the rant. Okay. And then I scheduled the stream today for 9:45, but I was a little bit late because I got a little pulled off to the side because of Jensen. Jensen midday decides to do a surprise interview with OpenAI about a new gigawatt data center that's going to be like the one of many that they're talking about. Did you watch this one, Evan?
Honestly, no, I did not see the interview. I just read about it.
Okay, so why is NVIDIA just ripping midday out of nowhere is because of this interview. NVIDIA just like, okay, here's the chart. NVIDIA's been kind of stuck in the mud, more or less, right? But right out the 50s, $175 to $10 intraday. It's a $10 billion investment. Oop. Uh-oh.
What?
No.
Wee. You know what I'm also seeing right now while you're having QQQ over 600.
Yeah.
Like a nice little milestone.
Thanks to NVIDIA and everybody else following along. It's the entire data center space is going to rip of this. But the tone of the interview was like, this is just one of many. And between him and Altman, and I forgot who the other person was, 10 gigawatts. Thank you, June. at 1 gigawatt. Yeah, between him and Altman, it was just like they basically said we massively underspec and underestimated our requirements here, and we need significantly more, basically. And it was those two being like, yeah, this is it, but we massively underestimated like the amount of data center footprints that we're going to need. So we're seeing Dell, SMCI, everybody start to rip in the data center space, and then they start talking about the edge and things like that. So I think it just another little breath of oomph in the market across the board.
Every time, the law of big numbers should have came so long ago. Every time they say it's
Yeah.
going to come, there's this other, headline that we should have expected but didn't. And maybe it's a bubble. It probably is for a little. I don't know. But I mean,
I think they kind of
there are
addressed
bubbles,
that, right?
some of them, but I don't know about NVIDIA. Maybe. I don't know. It's just hard. It's just every headline is good.
Yeah. Oop. And I did not update the calendar there. Did I miss anything here? Do you want to add anything? I saw you got on your feed. What do I have?
bmnr, Tom
Oh,
Lee,
yeah, I want to talk about that. So bmnr is down today, but it was a very kind of special. Can you talk about the shelf offering?
Yeah,
It was very different.
a little bit. But first of all, here's what happened. So Ethereum itself is down, and bmnr, the stock, has been holding in / going up. So it's had mnav expansion. So my kind of read is the mnav has increased. They were probably going to dilute the stock a little bit more because it becomes more creative, get more Ethereum. Tom Lee and bmnr could be a little bit more transparent about some things of like, how many shares they have. I heard Amit talking about this morning, so we could do these calculations. I don't necessarily know where mnav exactly is. I don't think anyone does, but it was definitely expanding. So they diluted pretty big. And then they had an offer. They announced an offering that was going to be, they sold shares at $70 per share.
Yeah.
That is 14% above the level. And then they also sold warrants. So basically what this is saying, hey, we're taking it. Whoever this is taking a bet that bmnr in a couple of years is going to be really over 87.50, but over like 100. This is someone who is taking that bet, and at 70, $80, this is a bad bet for whoever's taking this, but at 100, 110, 120, this is a great bet for them, and yeah.
Yeah, it was.
You can explain it better, but yeah, warrants.
I didn't really go into it.
So yeah, they bought shares at $70 when the stock was trading at 61. They knew it was going to go down, but the reason they did that was because the person is also getting these warrants. I believe it's like up to 2 years. The warrants is when the conversion date is below it. But yeah, that's their bet. Is that
in addition to the shares, the company included warrants, up to 10.5 million of additional shares at an exercise price of 87.50. So, so the warrants are probably, I don't know what the ticker is, but you could probably look up a warrant price. They're usually like 70 plus, so they're probably 17.50. So 70 plus 87.50 minus whatever it's trading at right now. If exercised for cash, the warrants could provide up to 913 million, but it's not really how you would want to do that. But essentially, you would want in 2 years, whoever did this transaction, you would want bmnr to be trading over 87.50 in 2 years. I think it was, right? Because it was a 2-year warrant.
I don't know exactly, but I think so. I'm sorry. I don't want to just say something random, but I can, let me look in a second.
But your stock market news.
Let me get
The offering advances bmnr's stated global goal of accumulating 5% of total Ethereum supply.
March 22nd, 2027. Exercisable upon issuance and expire on March 22nd, 2027. So I think that means they can call them in at any time. between now and March 22nd.
Yeah.
There's definitely going to be. So listen, so what this is saying, and you could correct me if I'm wrong, bmnr is trading at 120. They can call them in and they get however many shares at $87.50,
Yeah.
and then they could just sell them on the open market.
Correct.
So there's a price. This is just a fancy call strategy that they're doing with someone, call options, whatever strategy that they're doing with someone. We're going to have some fat dilution when we're at 100, 110, 115. So that's the problem. Yeah, but it will probably, but they'll let it sit for a little bit and get some in the money.
87.
Yeah, but honestly, maybe even let it go. There will be a point that we're going to have a dilution and this is going to come due, but that's only at 2x or 70% higher. So, it's,
yeah,
if it's worth it. Yeah, it seems like a good way to get capital.
So from here,
in general, now they are 2%. They own 2% of the total Ethereum supply as of this last thing. That also seems like another thing to note.
So now they've so future proceeds. It's basically if these people exercise the warrants at 87.50, then that gives Tom Lee another 913 million if those are exercised, essentially, to buy Ethereum with. And then currently they get 365 million of gross proceeds. So now the question is, when do they deploy this money, and when do they buy it? September.
They've been a little bit cryptic about how they're buying their Ethereum.
Okay. So they're buying today? Are they buying right now?
Yeah, no. Well, so they're buying a lot, but they're announcing it once a week, Monday mornings. Go to, it's a little bit deep down, but we started this account, Treasury Edge on X.
Okay. You started an account?
Yeah, we're doing some stuff, me and Wolf. And
nice.
But
Treasury X?
Edge, EDGE. What do you think of the name?
Okay.
Scroll down a little bit. It's going to be it's 6 hours ago from on here, but it's a post of all their Ethereum buys over a little bit. No free promo. Keep going down.
Okay.
Keep going. Go. Wait till you get the bmnr guy.
MetaPlanet. By the way, can we talk about this?
What do you think?
I saw this morning. This is my favorite crypto.
Really? You did tell me to get into AVAX.
AVAX Treasury is coming.
This is Anthony huge. Scaramucci. I don't know if he still has a good reputation, but he is a no name.
I don't care. I saw this morning and I was like, oh goodness, it's coming, baby. This is freaking, sorry. It's my largest crypto holding.
That's good to get distracted by. I'm glad we found something you're interested in.
Yeah.
Little merger there.
Yeah, whatever.
It was weird. A lot of random note. This is the post I wanted to look at. So this is this is the official filings.
Got it. So 921, 2.4 million.
Yeah, that's how much they had. And look at the difference between.
Okay, this is the holding.
This is how much Ethereum they held. And if you look at the difference, they bought like 260,000 Ethereum this past week. The week before was like 100,000, and the week before that was like 150 and like 100. So this was their largest buy since going back to that, like a month, we'll say ago, when it was the 818 to 810.
Got it.
That week. So this was a large dilution week.
Okay.
Apparently, Anthony Scaramucci just also retweeted that. Nice. Oh wait, no, for Wolf Bitcoin, but interesting.
Yeah, AVAX Treasury, baby. Dude, I'll just tell you what. Anyways, so we got Bitcoin. I think maybe you get 10, 15% if you're really lucky. ETH, okay, 25, maybe 30%. All right. Solana, maybe you get a double. AVAX, triple plus. Anyways, Cool.
That was it on that. There was a lot of news this week.
Systems.
These crypto treasury companies or whatever, there was a lot of news this morning in them. I mean, I don't know, but yeah, active morning there. I guess it is all just financial engineering.
I'll bookmark it for you. 901. Okay. We'll let this guy go. I'll have to put this on my watch list, though, for sure.
Is it?
Sorry,
it's down
guys.
more today. It's at $6 now.
No, that's fine. Give this a bit. AVAGRI. Go on the watch. I don't want to watch it. I'm just buying it. Okay. All right. You want to talk about Pfizer? Pfizer nixed their whole. I almost read Pfizer's acquisition as like MSTR thing, but they did away. They were supposed to release their own weight loss pill, then they're going to buy somebody else, Metsera. So they've done away with that. We got some Oracle news, things like that. I mean, that's pretty much it. Uber at $100, over 100. And we got a lot of Fed speak today. So, you know what we're going to do? Let's just go ahead and pull up Evan's Catalyst watch. So here's Evan's picture. I forgot which one that was.
I think that was inauguration, but honestly, just there wasn't. I didn't know what maybe I should have done like the Fed's things because there's 20.
There's a lot of. So we had FOMC last week, and then this week they're all out of their blackout periods, so they get to talk. And so they're going to take advantage of that this week. So that's probably one of the biggest things. And we do have some economic data coming this week. So Robinhood, aapl, EME. So that's all opening today as S&P 500. Holy moly. It was Wolfspeed. I thought they were going bankrupt.
Something did happen there. Did they? I feel like they did go bankrupt or something. I don't know. Listen, this is if you go bankrupt here, you know, just turn into a crypto treasury company or something like that. I don't know what's happening.
Well, I don't really have anything today. Tomorrow, Qualcomm.
Every phone that isn't so many phones use this Snapdragon product, so I'd imagine this is a big event.
I don't even know what that is. Snapdragon.
Okay. It's a big chip for the phone.
Got it. So Micron has had their run. They're at 116 change right now. AutoZone. So Micron for sure. Earnings. I don't know that I want to press that. KB Homes, Cintas. Oh, geez, Cintas. That's going to be a rough one with the labor. Yeah, I don't think so. Ooh, that's going to be rough. Thor Industries, Darden Health, Merck, vote on a $10 billion acquisition offer. Verona Pharmaceutical. Okay, that's weird. Blackstone. Short interest data. Do we have anything? Accenture. Dude, Accenture's been getting just absolutely decimated. Jabil now. CarMax, blah. Pure Storage, Pure Accelerate. You going to this?
I was not invited. If anyone from PSTG is listening, I mean, I'd go.
First of all, they're called Puritans. Thank you. So any Puritans out there, we can get. Well, maybe we'll make some phone calls. Puritans, give Evanito a call, but you need more coverage, guys. You deserve it. Charlie, what? Interesting. Octas, not seeing a whole lot. Texas Auto Show. Okay, so Friday it's this core PC, and we'll get to that into the calendar here in a little bit. But this is your biggest economic data point. We didn't. So this was the Seeking Alpha Catalyst Watch. So Pure Storage, this is not going to. They don't have a lot of. They just don't get a lot of coverage really. So it's not going to hit the markets that much. But that's their annual event. And then core PCE is going to be the biggest thing. So I talked about this in our what's going to be the biggest thing in terms of this. So shifting balance of inflation risk versus downside risk to employment. The Fed looks at PCE. So Friday is going to be the shifting day to me for sure. Earnings for the week: Micron, Costco, per Evan's calendar for sure. And then KB Homes might move some of the home builders. I think the home builders are down right now just because they had a pretty big move coming into the rate cut, and it's just normal to see a lot of that get pulled back as like a sell the news event, and then we'll stabilize, and then see where we go from there. But just I think a bit of sell the news, and then Costco. I don't know, Costco. I haven't looked at Costco in a while. Oh, where's your calendar? You don't have a calendar. So we need the calendar.
No, there should be a one on there.
I didn't see it.
We go back. Where are you?
No calendar.
Because you clicked into the thing. Go out one. Go down. I even changed my calendar to the one that you prefer, Trading Economics. Go to the website though.
You did. Blossom.
You can go to the website. It might be easier to use.
No, this is fine. You actually have it good. So Monday. So when you look at a calendar, when you look at consensus or forecasts, right? So the consensus and forecast, that's what the markets are pricing in today. So when you're looking at calendars in general, that's not important. And what the actual number comes in versus the prior number, also not important, right? Because what's priced in today is the consensus. And if it's something versus the prior, not important. The important numbers that you look at are what the actual number comes in versus the consensus or the forecast. Just like an earnings report, if it's a huge beat versus the prior number, that doesn't move a stock. The only thing that moves a stock is if it's a huge difference from the street or the whisper number, which is the same thing as a consensus. So when you see these economic data points come out, if it's a big difference, the actual number is a big difference from the consensus, that will move the market, not anything else other than that. And again, same thing for earnings. So you got to know what the whisper number is. That's the same thing as a consensus. And that the difference between that and the actual, that's the only thing that's going to move the markets. But again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 speeches today, all day. And then
there's
tomorrow,
been more. Like there was a Bostic headline that came out and stuff like that. So this is low end.
I mean, they're just on a tear this week. It's crazy. And then tomorrow, 1, 2, plus a Powell. I don't know what this is about tomorrow. Is that a special one? I don't know.
It's let me look into it right now what it exactly is, but it's probably.
And then Wednesday we have daily home sales. This is Tuesday is just the like PMI flash. That's
economic outlook at the Greater Providence Chamber of Commerce 2025 Economic Outlook Luncheon.
It's a luncheon.
Yeah, I wouldn't imagine there's going to be much new.
No, but anytime this guy gets up and talks, the market listens. So there's that. When you're looking at these kind of like PMI flashes or any of these kind of numbers like this, anything over 50 is in expansion mode for the economy. So that's typically good. Anything over 50 is positive for the economy. When you look at these kind of numbers, new home sales is fine. I mean, it's not going to be a big market moving event. Oil status report, again, not anything crazy. But then we get into Thursday and Friday. So GDP, if it moves, so this is a final. So when I look at this, all right, I will move to the actual site. So we get into Thursday. So GDP is Q2. When it says Q2 final, so the final number, we get 3 looks at growth rate. So the final number should not be a surprise to anybody. And it's very backwards looking. So this was a revision when I posted this earlier. It's GDP revised to 1.6 for the year. This should not be a market moving event when we get this. When we get like the first look, so it's not this one, but the next one. The next one should actually move the market a little bit. The first look on our GDP numbers will move the markets just a little bit. We get Goolsby, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 speeches also on Thursday. Balance sheet not really going to move markets. 7-year note auction not going to move markets. But yeah, Thursday is just packed with shenanigans. Again, final numbers are not going to get consumer spending finals. Final numbers are not going to move markets, again, because we get 3 looks at this stuff. It's the first looks that will change. When we get to Friday, and when we talk about the Fed's dual mandate, so the Fed has 2 mandates, right? One is to promote full employment, and the second is to keep stable prices. And they have that target 2% inflation. When we talk about the Fed's target inflation rate, and everybody, you might hear about this 2% inflation rate, they're tracking the core year over year. This right here, this is the number that they're looking at. They're looking at this number right here. And so it's not the month over month, it's the core PCE year over year number. And so when I was talking about if the inflation stuff becomes more of an issue, if the consensus is 2.9, if this number, now that we've cut rates, here's the deal. We've initiated this rate cutting cycle. If for whatever reason this starts to go up, then things will be like, oh crap, did we make a mistake? So this is important from here moving forward, that everything stays perfectly the way that it was. This is the number that we really can't start to see getting out of whack, right? So when I drill into this and you look at even actually the month over month, and it's the core one, not the headline, they're 2 different ones. The month over month, this is month over, we're going to be losing a 0.2. We just had 0.3. We don't want to see this. We don't want to see like 0.5 month over month. And for all intents and purposes, we are at the highs here. So because we're at the highs, 2.9 for the year over year, we should be okay. But again, if we're making more money and we're spending more money and this goes higher, that's not going to be good. And I'll show you a couple things where like, well, this is something that you could monitor just to watch. But this is, for all intents and purposes, should be okay. But just know that if this thing comes in hot, that's going to be your big red flag. And not red flag, but the market's going to react. Whether or not it's sticky, different story. But the market will react on that number for sure. But it's because of what I just explained. The Fed actually watches this number. The market watches CPI, but the Fed actually watches this number right here. And then we get consumer sentiment, blah, blah, blah. Baker rig count's not going to do anything. UN General Assembly, I don't know. And that's it. That's it for the month. Well, Carl, in the house. All right. He's here. Appreciate it. So, oops, not trade bath. Trading view. So typically, I will do, oh, look, we're still going higher. Rivn over 15. Love to see that. Typically, when I do a first look, I'm gonna do this really quick and take a look at the indices. Gold, crazy, ripping to the upside. One thing that was kind of standing out to me initially was that, hey, look, our rates are going higher, and the bonds were kind of so TLT is the long bond, and the move here, this is inverse to the TLT is the bond itself, which is inverse to the to the interest rate. Hopefully this is going to make sense. And so if the bond itself, TLT, this is a 30-year, 20-year plus bond, the long bond, is going up, that means that the longer duration interest rates are going down. And then recently, we just started to come back down a little bit in the bond, which means that the longer duration rates are actually going higher. They're kind of mean reverting a little bit. And this is that inflation story I was telling you a little bit about. Typically, when the Fed lowers rates, it creates this really weird dynamic in the global market. We're like, all right, and this is the one thing to kind of watch, and that is that the long duration bonds become a little bit less attractive globally. It's a longer thing to play out, but it could mean that what you see here is that you're seeing, near-term people be like, okay, I can get a little bit more yield because these are going to come up. But anybody that owned them is like, well, these will become less attractive, and you'll see some other foreign currencies things like the dollar decreases in value, but the dollar was kind of front running this whole move. So this guy becomes something to watch. The dollar kind of popped up a little bit, but they're not. Essentially, anybody that was selling those longer duration bonds, this moved the dollar up just slightly, while those yields came in. But we need to follow this. So I think the question here is now where does that money end up going? And I probably just lost you a little bit because I'm trying to get this here. So TLT. I think this move was essentially just the front running. And then here, this is the rates going back up. And these people that bought, or maybe other people that held, selling it at the same, this is September 18th. '17th, 16th, 16th here, 17th there. So money left the bonds, and it actually went straight to the dollar here. Then on the 18th, 21st, it's leaving cash and it's going somewhere. So we see a little bit going into safe haven still. So cash is leaving the dollar. So cash left the bonds, went to the dollar, 16th, 17th. Unfortunately, what I'm seeing is money go into safe haven assets on the 18th. And I need to find out where the rest of this money is going. And it looks like it's kind of just getting spread out a little bit. So I think, anyways, this is something we have to monitor. Like if you're investing right now, this piece, it's not the bonds play for sure. Definitely not the bond play. I think money's still going into gold, and a little bit definitely going in here. But this gold trade, this is telling me people are still a little cautious, or maybe they think that this is the trade to be in still. All right. It's kind of a tangent, but it's kind of an important one. It's a watch. So my targets here for Qs, 669 was from last week. I think I had this on last week. We have to stay over 665 for this guy. It's possible to pull back. We had a little gap overnight. So if you fail here, you can have that. That's the best case scenario. But you cannot have this 662.80 on SPY. We'll call it right there. Fail. So a retracement is fine, but you can't really have it come back down below that 662 level. And if you do, from an index perspective, then we're probably looking at 660, and then possibly downside for the week would be here, 648 if we have a move to the downside, and then weekly range to the upside, 675 if we can continue on to the upside. So weekly range high, 675, weekly range low, 649, which would actually just be a retest of last month's high and right into that level. But we will know that we're going lower if we lose that 660 level. So you gotta hold 660 on SPY. Super similar for Qs, kind of gap down on the Qs. Looks like NVIDIA somewhat saved the day. I got to do the indices first, but obviously 600 is clearly the major pivot. That's a big psychological level. We don't want to have like a bit of a look above and then fail. That's just going to trigger a downside move. I have a bit of a small, very weak, but small volume shelf here. Not really established that well. Average weekly range puts me at 611. And I have some confluence to 610. Not a whole lot. So average weekly range to the upside puts me somewhere between 610 and 611. To the downside, though, this puts me right into last week's low and 685 for an average week's range. To retest kind of like this two lower wicks, which we would probably trigger if we did lose that 599 level. First off, 590, and then extensions to 585, 583s. So it would look like this. One, you could do this, but two. Essentially, each of these are kind of like trading ranges. You can go in either one of these. But if you're trading, these are what ranges look like. This would be one trade, one trade, one trade. Each one of these would be kind of a range. but that's how that works. All right. VIX at 17 or 16, probably no big deal. This gold is really, this thing is not stopping. Diamond's not showing me the same kind of strength. IWM, we do have a bit of a look above and fail at the all-time highs. So this, with rates coming down, I don't want to see this like confirming a look above and fail for IWM. That would not be ideal. I'm not seeing that. That does happen right around 244.5. So that could mean that we have a little bit more upside, or even if we have some kind of downside move like this, that's a possibility of happening. So this might be something that tells you right now it's not happening. So as long as IWM holds over 240, call it 242, this looks okay. She's very gappy. So this looks good. Let me pull this back. It's just like a pretty steady channel up. Yeah, this is a pretty steady channel up. It's just a little steep. If it gets too steep, then I would get a little more worried. But hopefully this can just continue on and we don't have any kind of breakdowns. But everything's just a slightly toppy. I don't see any breakdown issues right now. I don't see any breakdowns happening. They were just like, we're just like right at the top. So I think the charts are kind of like where I am in the trading ranges, is like, we look good, but I'm more in the camp of like, okay, I would rather kind of just ride my existing positions instead of continue to press. Cause like we're doing really good, but it's a little risky to press new money longs at the same time, unless I can find stuff that's good values, which there are plenty out there. Evan, do you have any chart requests?
Ooh, boy, do I ever. I saw someone comment the bmnr. I feel like we'll end up going there at some point.
Yeah.
Give me a
I got a big clap for the echo. I like it.
Mic sync? No, give me a Rivian. I want to hear Rivian thoughts.
Oh, Rivian.
Also,
probably not going bankrupt.
Did I miss Miss Cleo?
Oh, you know what? She's around. Do you guys want to check in with Miss Cleo? Shoot. Hang on. Let's see what she has to say real quick. We'll be fast. How come it's not showing? There it is. I got Miss Cleo. You're right. I did have it. We're like...
Initial read. This feels bullish.
Initial read. There's a lot of gold. Did she call the gold move? Yeah. I mean, well, there's a little cloud with a cup that's coming in. I don't remember this one. Judgment. I mean, this looks like celebration day. There's not a lot of numbers in that. There's no numbers in any of these daily cards except for the top one. King, Knight, Hierophant, Judgment, Queen.
Is Miss Cleo saying valuation doesn't matter?
Yo, I mean, the market base.
I thought that was funny. I like that one.
Oh, God. This is only a 4, though. A 4 of cups. It's not usually super. That's a low number, right? King of Swords, Knight of Wands, the Hierophant. Am I saying that right? Hierophant? I think so. I mean, this one just feels like we're at risk, though, because we're just like, everybody's like partying outside naked. It just feels like you put yourself out there at risk. Queen of Pentacles. Anyways, here we go. I do have it though. So theme card is the 4 of Cups. So last week was the final death to the Bulls, to the Bears, to the Bears, to the Bears. And that would have cemented an energy shift. Judging by the price action, it was either the last stand for the Bears or a sign that the Bulls will get slaughtered. She didn't make any sense here. It was either, judging by the price action, either last stand for the Bears or a sign that the Bulls will get slaughtered. Monday will be a key for discernment. But rates were dropped, and it could be that the uncertainty is behind us, making way for a bigger rip. So final death for the Bears. However, this theme card signals apathy, and that doesn't sound very positive. Theme card signals apathy. The way I look at this card is that its primary weapon is max pain. What? It hurts the side that is most offsides. Interesting. I've never heard her say this. Its primary weapon is max pain. It hurts the side that is most offside. This usually happens in the form of mean reversion, but it can bring continuation if traders are still trying to double down on losing trades. All right. King of Swords. We have the swords for both crypto and stocks this week. This card brings heavy sweeps of both the broadsword, the kind that can take your ankles out. Whoa! We have swords for both crypto and stocks this week. This card brings heavy sweeps of the broadsword, the kind that can take your ankles out and your Achilles. However, it has a bull bias and loves to trend that way. The worst case for bulls is probably a choppy negative day. Well, we're not getting that. Best case is a nice river, which don't get your feet chopped off. Okay. Tuesday, Knight of Wands, double royalty, but with a different suit. This should be impulsive, but still slow and steady in the direction of mean reversion. And will probably travel more distance intraday than in total. Knights can run out of steam after lunch. All right, so show up early. Wednesday is the Hierophant. I'll quote this from last week's version. This one tends to try and restore structure to portions of the charts that may be lacking a fill. When it trends, it's usually to the upside. Otherwise, it's Chop City. Look for it to find a zone to settle in and stick around for a while. Last Thursday's range was large, but we closed almost flat. Basically, I don't want to write it again, so here's last week's. Okay. This is gap and go or gap and chop. There's a gap. It's a gap day. Thursday, Judgment. This card's preference is to close within 0.5% of the open. It can bring huge energy surge like it did 2 weeks before this day. Pause the trend, but it's rare, and I would not count on it. You could say that it likes to catch people off sides. Do we have anything happening Thursday? Not really. What day is Micron? Micron could move the market.
Micron is Tuesday, Costco is Thursday, PCE is Friday morning.
All right, so moving into PCE, they'll probably up front run. All right, I got it. All right, Queen of Pentacles. Like crypto, I think we can expect to close the week with a choppy session. This one has a negative bias. And the best case for bulls is usually a flat close. I'm expecting to see rallies sold. To what extent, I am not sure. Okay, so rally. Whoopsie daisies. Miss Cleo's calling for PCE. Queen of Pentacles, though, to come in hot. But she doesn't know she's calling for that. Friday shows the highest chance of chop, but the rest of the week could be wild. I do think we should get some clarity this week. Clarity. Max pain for the Bears. So if last week, so let me get this right. If last week was the final death, possibly for either the Bulls or the Bears. She doesn't know. Then and if this week's theme is Max Payne, then it could be like blow off top week, meaning like Max Payne to the upside, and then is she saying that it's going to flush out? I don't think she knows what she's saying. Not gonna lie, dude. I might fade Miss Cleo. Just saying. But Patrick says Miss Cleo knows. I don't know. rivn is not going bankrupt. Just so you know. It's been good to buy sub 12 anytime. It's going higher, in my opinion, but could be wrong. I got some, January 2028 calls now, or expiration on options.
Wow.
Yeah,
time's a weird one.
Yeah, 2027 might not be leaps for much longer, so it's time to roll. They've just in time for your tax extensions, they've aptly given you the opportunity to roll out another year. I mean, this has just been a slow, steady mover. That 1150 is like, just look at that. It's slow, steady. The upside, essentially, when you look at this. So here was that last resistance. And we will look at it as like a, I'll do. I'll put this line straight across. Can you guys see this? You might not be able to see it, so let me make this a little bit bigger. Okay, so this is 1584. You can see it in red. This was support here, broke down, went lower, ends up kind of basing out. It pushes up through, ends up being support. You got a little bit of a range breakdown and creates a new base, which we know ends up being support. And it's going to come back up into, so that's 1854. So 1854 is your big dill pickle. That's right here. So 1854, we know that it can get a little like peckish when it goes through. 1, 2, 3 times. No such thing as a what?
Triple top.
Yeah. No such thing as a triple top. 2310, baby, is a session gap. Listen, this is not like a short-term trade to me by any means. So at all. So this, whether or not earnings, don't know. This is probably not till like mid next year, maybe even late next year. Who knows? I don't even care. This is not like a tomorrow. This is not like a next month. This is not even like a necessarily this year. If it happens, great, cool, awesome, 2315. But it's going to attempt to get in here. 1584 in my is the key pivot, which you can see clearly right here. So what that means is that anything in this area here is your kind of new accumulation. Any kind of back and fill. If I really get to this, you just kind of came out, and I'll put one more. That's 1330. As close to 1330 as you could have. That was ideal. But now what you're getting up over, we have one more level here. That is 1459. So every time we get over one of these levels, 1459, we just want to see that these levels continue to move higher and higher and higher. See here how this was a rejection zone right there, right here, right here. So each time we're getting through one of these, oops, this is good, right? This is constructive each time this happens. So 1459, that's a white number right there. That's what we're getting through today. Every time you blast through one of these, it looks really strong. Each one of these levels on rivn, it's like, this thing has been held down like a beach ball underwater. So yeah, for sure, it'll shoot really strong, like really high. Can it come down and come back and bounce a little bit, like boosh, 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 boosh? Yeah, of course. Right. But that's how this stock acts. This is how you have to expect that to work, which means that 1459 is that same level. So above that, you guys know 1584, if it can come back in and settle around 1460, that's what you want to see. Then it'll come back up and you have another little blip somewhere around 1665-ish. That's a very ish level. It's not like a major level. It's actually a pretty small one. But all of this to say 1, 2, 3. This is in fact the fourth attempt in this entire channel. This entire channel is the fourth attempt. So every dip to me in this channel as we go is mostly buyable as we go through this channel. Because this channel should be breaking. Whether or not any of these attempts break through, whether or not it's this one, whether or not this one goes through, whether or not this one goes through, it doesn't really matter to me if any of that goes through, because this whole attempt from here is the fourth attempt. Satisfied? I think so. 1584.
Boom. Thank you, sir.
Boom. Long term. Ish. All right. What was that? Apple? Yeah, I gotcha. Okay, so Apple coming up on new all-time highs. Yes. My buddy Amit, I was on the stream with him. I love him to death. And I was bummed. I'm like, I had this Google thing. I think, congrats, by the way, to any of the Googlers that were riding that bad boy, still riding that thing. It's been amazing. The antitrust lawsuit, I think, was the first real, the next catalyst for Apple, right? Which, by the way, happened here, 226. You had a full week. It had a first move up in here, and it gave you a whole second pullback retest right into that, which for our crew was the absolute perfect retest to go real long. And I mean big long, leap long. And that's what a lot of us, our group, did. And now when you look at this, first of all, the volatility was pretty low. When you look at this, I think it's pretty clear that you're going to see all-time highs. I think that's fair to say. Would you say it's fair to say, Evan?
Hey, yeah, I default to you, so.
Okay, so you're going to see all-time highs. That's 260. I think that's in the cards. If you want to, tomato, there's a very small, what we call fair value gap at 257, which is pretty damn close to all-time highs, which essentially you hit, or just thereabouts today already. So if you want a penny pinch, you're essentially there. At this point, what you kind of need to do is you need to realize that this entire moment has been, is about to turn into a consolidation breakout. And that's what you're about to see. And if you're still stuck on, I don't like Apple because it's not growing, or you're stuck on it for whatever the hell reason you're stuck on it, not wanting to be along it, well, get over it, because this is going to break out. Sorry. And even if it pulls back here, that's fine. Even if it pulls back, you're going to have a big nasty cup and handle. You're not going to get it back here. Not likely. But best case scenario, you might be able to, not likely, but you can wish all day. Maybe maybe somehow you get a cup and handle thing. But essentially, Dan Ives had 310. That's what he had today for his price.
310.
Yeah, I'm giving you 320.
I'm giving you 325. Suck it.
All right, and then I'm going to give you extension to 350. Suck it again. With a possible pullbacks, but unlikely still. This pullback is again unlikely. I'm not going to trade for this. No way. I'm already in that here. I need a trigger for that kind of a pullback. It's just not happening. This is like Tesla. It's already gone. You've got a catalyst. If it happens, it's going to happen fast and furious. And honestly, I'm not even going to notice, because it's just going to probably be like a one-day thing. Here's what I'm going to do. So what I just did, because it's gotten away, is I'm just going to pull a quick fib retrace on this breakout from the close to whatever the pre-market high is. And that's going to be about 245 right here. So even any kind of hold, and remember, Apple is it's just not really loved. And so when it does this, it's going, let me just remind everybody about this moment here, right? Like, I think it was this moment here. Like this moment here, it was having such a hard time going sideways for 30 days, absolutely nowhere. And then it looked like it was breaking down. And then instantly, it goes on a 7-day straight shot to the upside, completely 15%. Every single day, Apple, you were waiting for a pullback. You never got it. I mean, you literally never got it. And it started with a day like today. The day like today, essentially, was an 8% day out of nowhere on Apple. And it was like day one. Okay, cool. Well, where's my day two pullback? There was none, right? Where's my day three pullback? There was none. Where's my day 4 pullback? There was none. Where's my day 5 pullback? There was none. Where's my day 6 pullback? There was none. Where's my day 7 pullback? There was none. That's what I'm talking about, right? Where's my day 8 pullback? Barely. 9, barely. 10, barely. I mean, like, no. It's very, like, no. It didn't really ever show up, and then boom, gone. So you're sitting here waiting for a pullback? No. So my gut is maybe not. So no, I'm not going to trade for that, because this is just the second time after another 30-day pause. This situation here is very reminiscent to me of this situation here. I mean, it's almost identical, right? Of a 30-day rest, small pullback, and then boom, right? So like, why would we not do 15%? At least to 260, which we'll see. Who knows? But just saying. TBD.
This was quite the strong move here.
It's a follow through. Yesterday or Friday was also another strong move, right? So this was Friday. Friday had an equally strong move. This is just a follow through of Friday.
And let's see. I mean, strength into the close here, even if you just kind of close basically on highs of days here and don't even break above it, that's to be a very strong close.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, it's since all of last week was strong. And then we were just having a 2-day follow through here. So maybe we do go sideways for a bit because we have moved quite a bit from this one. It's about 15% in a week and a half as it is. So I don't think you have to chase it, but I don't know that you're going to get I don't know that you're going to get a massive pullback either. But this one, I'm more in the camp of like I'm not in the short-term dated stuff there. Yeah, I would be more longer dated. Tassie. So Tesla today, good move, all-time high consolidation. This one has been stewing for quite some time. I mean, since this I guess I could take some of this stuff off at this point because we know it's gone higher. It's gone over this volume shelf. Cool. This is not going to get sold anytime by me. We are significantly over all the major SMAs. Over this is a much earlier all-time high 416. Do we continue on here? I don't know. But where we're holding right now is actually last week's high. Believe it or not. We just popped up and sat right back on it. So it's not like bearish. It's not super bullish. It's kind of like, okay, I'll watch you. I don't want to press this either after that big move on the upgrade on, maybe Elon going buddy with, or back in Trump's good graces. I had 465 for the next move. I'm in a bit of a diagonal on Tesla because when I was building this position way down here in the 320s, volatility was extremely low on Tesla. At this point, it's not so low, I don't think. And so I'm taking advantage of that with some nearer dated covered calls. So what we call like a poor man's covered call. I'm just going to check this IV. It's still not super expensive. Options IV percentile, 20th percentile. When I opened these, they were at like 0 percentile. So it's not crazy expensive, but they're significantly more expensive than they were before. I just think we're getting into this upper kind of congestion zone where it can get a bit choppy. So I think this is time to maybe let it breathe. It can just blast off. So I want to have some breathing room above in case it does, because if this goes, this area here, this is these are sixes, and it's that same kind of exercise. If it does continue on, and if it does break through 465, basically these areas up here, 490s, then that's a blue sky breakout into the 600s, which would just be like absolutely epic. But it's Tesla, so it could do it. I don't want to get in its way. I don't want to really short it. I want to be a little bit cautious of a Monday kind of whipsaw. Right now we're above last week's high, but if I open higher on Monday and then I can't continue to hold today's range tomorrow, it's not going to be the best look from a weekly perspective. So I'm a little cautious of the way that this will close today and subsequently open tomorrow. So I'm watching that. All right, I'm going to scroll through the chat just a little bit. Hoodie. Yeah, hoodie leaps.
That's S&P 500 hoodie to you.
Yeah. This is S&P 500 to me. I was just messing with my buddy. I'm like, what am I even doing here? Like, why am I just not like averaging in every single day? Yeah, absolutely. I not gonna lie. I kind of just said screw it. Like, I don't trade this thing very often. And I'm like, okay, this looks like it's gonna go. I think that I don't know. I think that maybe retail's figuring it out. 125 is another psychological kind of level. It really is. If 120 was a big deal, right? See this little volume shelf we've created here at 123. Oops. That's just like a 3-day balance right here. 123. Also a big deal. If we're traversing this higher after having been included to the S&P today over the weekend, I mean, 120 was here. It's not really 120 exactly. It's like 118. Just this little blip, and then knowing what we just talked about, the next stop would be like 128. If this entire, how long is this balance? 13-day balance, 2-week balance here, that red box. Let me just move to a 30-minute. I'm sorry, my numbers got small. They bigger again. So if this is that, now you see it, breakout. So we'll see this resistance here, pullback, resistance, tried to get it through, did not, resistance, smaller pullback, push through, boom, today, support. See that? If we can get through, confirmation, up. Can we do, how does it a little, what's the rocket? Is that a rocket ship? Is it a rocket ship? Is okay. That's my best attempt, guys. I'm not a good rocket ship drawer. Anyways, that's the first time I attempted to draw a rocket ship at all. But so let me measure this real quick. So if this was, in fact, that I had this at, there's 140s, possibly slightly higher. Then when I zoom this out, I could replicate the same thing. That was like a 2-week balance, 14-day balance right there. When I zoom this out one more time, you kind of see the whole thing played out again. And inside of that, where this is kind of where it gets a little crazier, is like this, just this balance alone. So we did that on a 2-week balance. This here, yeah, that's a 2-week balance, which is in itself a breakout retest over a 2-month breakout. So you got breakout over breakout over breakout, which also gives me the confluence here of 2 levels. See how I'm getting this overlap. I'll delete these lines in just a little bit, but this is where I want to get this overlap on. So that's going to give me 1, 2, 3 targets, 130-ish, 140, 155, 1, 2, 3. There she is in all her glory. Boom. That's all I got to say. 1, 2, 3. 155, 140, 130. Be crazy, dude.
Can I request the next one?
Yeah, you can. This is so cool, like, to see this though. And like, all right, this is all predicated by the way that we hold each of these levels. So 122's got to hold. Then of course 117 has to hold. I think that's obvious, but if it's not obvious, the trajectory, the pathing is imperative that we continue to make these higher highs and higher lows. Essentially, if you're new to this and how this works, what this is these are the next higher highs that would be on the path. And so it would look like these are the higher highs. That's what the higher high path would look like. Assuming that doesn't break down. But go ahead.
I would love to hear more of your thoughts on bmnr.
Yeah, I think I think that if you're a fan of bmnr, you look at this as kind of like accretive, right? Like, first of all, you take a look at Ethereum. So Ethereum, the crypto cycle is a Q4 cycle. So anything here in this dip right now, you kind of look at as, all right, well, September universally poo-poo sometimes ish. You got a little bit of look at this Ethereum. Oh, no. This is a fake out. I don't buy that breakdown. I think that's fake. You can give it another one. You can let it come down another little hoo-ha. It's a Bart Simpson. Let this breathe. Don't jump in front of it. Oh, this is normal. Yeah. This is coming in. Get your cash ready. Bart Simpson. Ay caramba. Then you're going to get a reverse Bart Simpson. Are you familiar with these patterns?
I see the spiky hair, which means we're about to come down.
Yeah. This is very much crypto. So a reverse Bart Simpson will come for all of those unfamiliar with the crypto patterns. This is very real. Bart Simpson, crypto. I'm not making this up. This is my proof. I didn't make it up. It's very real. It's existed. And also not making up the reverse Bart Simpson. Oh, where'd it go? Oh, well. But there you have it. Just so you know.
Pain.
Not a pain if you know.
Well, yeah. We'll make some changes.
Anyways. Oh, that's a good drawing right there. I'm going to take this. I'm going to use that one. Yeah. But anyways, it's for sure a real thing. How did they do it? I don't even know. There's much practice required. Yeah. I mean, it's hilarious. But it's just the thing. So where this puts you is like this prior balance right over here. And you can kind of see them right here. And these are the just basic principles that you'll see me talk about all the time. We call this like a low volume pocket. And essentially what you're doing is like you tried to get higher, but you had, and this is what we talk about, that look above and fail. Then you have a lower high, and you have a little bit of breach. Then you have that 20, 50-day SMA kind of pullback. Can you go lower? Sure. But this is a very short-term chart, right? Like I'm on a 3-hour chart here. Even if I was on a daily or a 4-hour, that in the grand scheme of things, guys, that's a short-term chart. I would assume, depending on your time horizon. To me, that's a medium to short-term chart. Your support doesn't really show up till like this area, 36.7s and lower. If we go this way, I'm just going to take a basic fib. You're right here. Boom. So you're right at, from the monthly candle perspective, look at this level. That's crazy. And fibs play out a lot in crypto land because there's not a lot of other, they use a lot of this stuff, TA, in the cryptoverse, like all the time, because they lean so heavily on it. So if you get another one, great. For now, this could be it. You really don't want to see this below 41.57 near term. If you are below 41.57 near term, yeah, you're definitely going to 30. You're going to breach 4K just slightly, and that means 39. And if you lose 39, then it is the slight breach of just around 35. Does that really happen? I don't know, because when you pull this sideways, you have a lot of confluence here. Check this out. 39s, that's pretty decent, right? This is that same kind of like 1, 2, 3. You got your boom. And then anything here is going to be that. It's the setup, right? It's the setup. So would you be worried? Not really. Like here's from the lows, your big support here. I mean, this area is your big support. I don't know. This is why I was like, people were asking me like, am I buying up here? No. No. But I think anything in here, you can just nibble at slowly. I like as close to 4K as you can, which gives me this kind of confluence area. I'll just fill this in right here. As a first, like I would say that you're gonna get a bounce with a pretty, like you're definitely gonna get a bounce here. Whether or not this bounce sustains a rally, I do not know. But you should get a pretty, if you see this 4K number, you should get a pretty strong bounce. Whether or not that bounce takes you all the way up and out, don't know. But you should get a pretty strong bounce. You'll have to see. It's just like getting that Palantir around here. Like, don't know. And what you would want to be mindful of is that 4,200 area, what the failure would look like. It would look like somewhere between 42 and 44. With your overhead resistance being here. So 44's overhead resistance now. So if you pick this up here, it basically looks like this. That's tradable all day to me. Whether or not you get follow through to here, TBD, and you kind of just need to be cautious of this breakdown. But yeah, even I would be probably picking this up if I saw something like that. with what's going on. But I don't think we're going to get that. I think we've gone too far in the crypto situation to think that anything like this is happening right now. I think we've just gone too far in the treasury scenario to even get close to that. So I think I think 39, I think it's close to 4K as you can. I think everybody would probably be buying this up. That's what I would think. So you have to watch this. I think Tom Lee is pretty savvy when it comes to that. And I think that here, because you're getting that, you probably get this from, it's now. So it's this as close to 50 as you can. I think you mark it on close. You don't front run this intraday because this could do whatever it wants to do. Not at 55. I think you're as close to 50 as possible. Yeah. Because this 52 and a half, we know it's not that strong. It's really here, but I don't think you get too picky, because if crypto, it's going to be dependent on crypto. Like if crypto hits that 39, 4K, it's going to be 2 a.m. in the morning, and it's only going to be there for a split second before it gets bought up again. It's like 52s, as close to 50 as you can, and I would not be picky. bmnr. Before it was as close to 40 as you can without being picky. It's just $10 higher now. Cool. UNH update. I like it. But I like it a long time. There's nothing to update. How's that? It's not out of the box. 335 was, oh, yeah. No, it's not going higher. Well, yeah, no, it's the same as before. It can still come in lower. Doesn't have to either. It can still get to 325. It did not get to 325. It is not out of consolidation. I would not get my hopes up at all. This first breakout of this trend line is usually something to fade, quite frankly. Usually this is a fade. When you go up like this, that usually comes back down. And a lot of times it comes all the way back down. And then you have that set up. But you'll know if it's below 3. I don't trade this like that. But yeah, as long as this is over 300. I'm sorry, as long as this is over 250, I'm happy. And DVG. We can see AMD. AMD, ooh. AMD's steady as she goes. Not getting a lot of love. She didn't make a deal with Sammy either, though. There's one I want to check. Microsoft. This is 30-minute chart. A decent base here. Starting to set up also over this weekly high. This was on watch last week at the close. Evan, are you still here?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, there was at Friday's close, there was this big candle on Microsoft. The today's pullback intraday is actually a pretty decent hold, like right into a bit of what we call like a golden pocket. It's just right there. It's not going anywhere. It's not coming down. It's not going up. What was this? And I didn't even catch it. I don't remember what it was.
I think it might have just been OPEX. There's a chance it was part of that.
Could have
The
been.
only I listen, I was a little distracted on Friday at an in-person thing. The only thing I posted about Microsoft was them raising Xbox console prices
That's the only thing
in
I
the
saw.
US.
That's right.
Yeah,
Which should not
so
have moved that.
yeah.
Well, this one is it's been resting enough to be ready to move. It's over the 45-day consolidation level. As long as it's over whatever this is, five, I think it was 512.5. This should be good.
Apple's getting close to passing it in market cap.
Yeah.
Microsoft 3.82, Apple 3.79.
I don't want to bet against Microsoft here. And I think this is going to end up being like an NVIDIA where okay, it looks stuck in the mud because NVIDIA was looking stuck in the mud for a minute. And, NVIDIA 168. And I'm like, no, I'm not shorting this because NVIDIA was doing the same thing. Stuck in the mud, kept coming down. And quite frankly, you could have looked at this here and been like, this is a really bearish setup. Like, really bearish setup. And I remember saying this like multiple times in my group and probably on the stream that this is an ugly looking technical setup. But I do not want to short this thing. Like, no, because this is also the same exact setup that has ripped your face off lately. And sure enough, kablamo, there it is. Ta-da. Just like that, she reverses course. That's going to be a failed bearish breakdown. Probably the most bullish setup that you can have if this goes any higher. Anybody that was short NVIDIA because this was a very bearish looking setup, no. They're going to start covering real quick. And this bad boy, no, is going to reverse course along with the market. And you will be looking at a $200 nvda very soon if that does break through all-time highs. Someone just said Amazon. Similar, Amazon. I'm just so cautious on shorting anything. It's like, okay. Amazon, very bottom of the channel. So peak-ish. We know it's going to be AI centric. Technically, this is going to be NVIDIA 2.0, where it's about to look real ugly. It's right on the 50-day SMA. This is which you don't see me put this out here very often. This is called a parallel channel. So I'm taking essentially these bottom wicks of this channel because Amazon's a bit wicky. I say wicky, it's been piercing through a line. And so these are those pierces through the line here. And so it's basically pierced through the line where if support was like a trampoline, every time it's pierced through the bottom of support, it bounces whoosh right back, right? So support, this is dynamic support, meaning this is a trend line. Every time it's come down into bounce off, it boom, bounce off the trampoline, come in, boom, bounce off trampoline, come in, boom, bounce off trampoline, boom. This was a smaller bounce. This one, we just want to know, I just want to know, in this instance, did they really break through the trampoline? Because if the trampoline's old, because it's been jumped on too much, what's going to happen is all right, it's not going to be so bouncy anymore. So they bounce, boom, bounce. If they bounce and it doesn't bounce anymore, it's just going to whoosh is what's going to happen, right? And then the canvas is just going to rip and it's going to boosh and then boosh. And then eventually there's be another one that saves them. So I'm actually watching this for exactly that, funny enough. So this is one where all right, it's at the absolute kind of bottom of that trampoline here. So I would venture to say it might be worth a shot, but the kind of shot that this is, it's a high risk, high reward shot. So meaning this has to be done with options. If you're going to take a shot on Amazon here and now, it really can't be done with equity because it is such a high risk trade location here. And it has to be done with near dated options in small dollar amount. So without getting too far in the weeds, this is basically only an options play in the sense where you need to be low dollar exposure to take an upside bet here or a downside bet to take a directional bet. It kind of needs to be, for a directional bet, it needs to be low dollar exposure because you're either going to bounce really hard or the canvas is old on your trampoline and it's about to rip. So you could take a straddle, maybe buying an at the money call and put. That's actually not bad now that I think about this. Maybe straddle this. And in that case, well, probably still options. This actually looks like a good straddle candidate. I might model that. But this, this is at the lowest point of the trend support where it could go either to it. I like the straddle setup here on Amazon. Time check. Ooh, 12 o'clock. I got to jet, guys, because we have I have like an insane.
Before we head off, though, you guys have to subscribe to the channel, and if you are already subscribed to the channel, there is a bell button there. If you hit that, it will set notifications.
There's
Throw
a
that
bell.
on. Paper goes live, and you guys don't want to miss it. But subscribe.
Please
Paper's
subscribe.
doing some cool stuff. I think you should subscribe.
We got some cool stuff. We got some more stuff coming. We got a lot of stuff going on. But yeah, Vlad Palantir. I like Palantir. I like this steady Eddie. She goes, Palantir today. I posted this. Check my timeline too. This holds. I like this. I like this hold. Not breaking down. So far, so good. Happy camper, boys and girls. But yes,
I was having some crazy couple weeks here. I think I'm starting to settle in a little bit. So yeah.
Are you?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm excited. I will. This is I really enjoy the show. Like I said,
I know you do. I text Evan like, "Hey, do you want to play?" And every time he's like,
weird
"Yeah,
wording,
I'm coming."
wording, but it's okay. I'll let it go.
Well, I mean, whenever you like, I just, when I would go over to my friend's house and I'd knock on their doors when I was a kid and be like, "Can Evan come out and play?" Whenever I want to go and hang out, that's all I would. Yeah. Can Evan come out and play? That's what it is.
I think we're gonna do more of these.
Yeah.
Maybe 5 times a week. I heard all day, every day.
No, not 5 times.
We're gonna get paper to be doing this 20 hours a day, 5 days a week.
Absolutely not. That's not what's happening. That's not what's happening. But there's some cool stuff. We got to finish. Most important thing on my to-do list is School of Gains. This is the biggest release that we're releasing ever. And it's a huge amount of work, but it's going to be worth it. Pièce de résistance for sure. School of Gains release is going to be fracking ginormous. And then when that is done, we will have a live show. We will call it School of Gains Live. Wherever that show exists, it's going to be pretty amazing. But you need to get the subscriptions on, turn the noties on for sure. But it's going to be pretty cool. I'm excited. A lot of good stuff coming. So huge stuff in the future, very soon. And you've been a big part of it, man.
I appreciate you, sir. Appreciate the comments too. These are good comments.
Appreciate everybody.
Yeah, I know. I appreciate.
All right, guys. We'll call it. I'll see y'all on the next one.
Subscribe.
Adios. Peace.
Appreciate you. Appreciate you all.